Have you ever felt just off? Like you're going through the motions of life and it's supposed to be good? You've got this nagging feeling, a deep craving for purpose that you can't even really describe? Maybe you're even worried something's wrong with you. But what if I told you that feeling isn't a problem? What if it's the first secret sign that you're spiritually awakening and it's already happening? In this video, I'm sharing the key signs to prove that you're on this path so you can ditch the confusion and start embracing your journey. This isn't about morphing into somebody else. It's not about comparison. It's about remembering the person you've always been underneath it all. And look, this process, this awakening, it can be messy, it can be confusing, and honestly pretty lonely. But these signs aren't issues you need to fix. They're confirmations. Think of them as breadcrumbs your higher self is leaving for you, guiding you back home. So the first sign, secret sign, is a deep, unshakable craving for meaning. Now, this one often throws people off, and you might be in a loop-de-loop around it because it is a profound sense of emptiness, whether your life looks full on paper or not. You might have the job, you might have the friends, you might have the routine, but you look at it all and question, really? Is this it? Is this really it? This isn't just a bad mood or your soul just telling you it's dissatisfied. The things that you used to enjoy and that you used to light you up now feel hollow. The goals you were so set on suddenly feel pointless. I remember this feeling vividly. From the outside, my life looked so successful. I checked all the boxes. I thought I was supposed to do that, and I found myself there doing it and feeling empathy and apathy just kind of wash over me. It was like I was watching myself from outside myself, like I was watching a movie on someone else's screen. It was incredibly isolating because when you're unhappy in your life, you feel like you're supposed to be grateful for, it's a bad feeling. It's a craving for something more. It's your soul asking you for a different kind of freedom. It's the first whisper that you're made for something deeper and more authentic. And it's a call to stop living on autopilot. Now, if this is you and you aren't ungrateful or broken, know that you're just starting to hear the call. The second sign is that your emotions basically turn into a storm you can't predict. You get hit with these intense waves of feelings that seem to come from absolutely nowhere. One minute, you might feel a sudden deep sadness, watching a movie of yourself outside yourself, and then the next minute you'll be crying for no obvious reason, and the next you could be filled with a totally random sense of joy and peace and connection to everything. This emotional whiplash can be really scary. It can really feel like you're losing your grip on reality, but what is actually happening is a kind of deep clean for your soul. It's an energetic, emotional detox. All of the old buried feelings, the grief, the anger, the fears you've stuffed down for years are finally coming up to be looked at, felt, and let go. Now, I had a phase like this in my life where all of a sudden I had these deep fears come up and I started crying uncontrollably for like a whole week. And I was really confused until I realized this was just a necessary means to an end. I needed to feel my stuff, not push it away. My sensitivity was dialed up and I was processing my past and the energy of people around me. These emotional waves were a sign that my heart was breaking open in a good way and knocking down the walls so that I can let more light get in. You know, the third sign that happens is if your physical body starts having all sorts of strange, unexplainable symptoms. Now, let me be crystal clear about this, okay? This is really important. This part is non-negotiable. Your first step should always be to consult a healthcare professional to rule out any medical issues. Seriously. If you get the all clear from the doctor and these things are still happening, it's very likely it's part of your awakening. One of the most common physical signs is a fatigue so deep that no amount of sleep seems to touch it. It's a bone deep exhaustion, which is the sign your body is using a massive amount of energy to adjust to a higher frequency. You might also have weird things like headaches, a feeling of pressure, or tingling at the very top of your head. I went to the dentist because my teeth started getting little zings, and the dentist was like, "You're all clear." And I knew it was part of my spiritual awakening. These can often be linked to your crown chakra opening up and an energetic gateway to a higher level of consciousness. Many people, myself included, talk about a feeling of strange vibrating or buzzing, zinging, and especially when it's quiet or when they're trying to sleep. There can be like a gentle electrical current that's humming just under your skin. Your sleep schedule might also go completely haywire. Waking up between 3 and 4 a.m. is incredibly common. And your dreams can also become a way that you start to process things, and they become more vivid and intense as your subconscious works overtime to process everything. Your body is basically just recalibrating. It needs time to do that, so give it permission. It's getting a major system update, and just like any update, it can be a bit glitchy and use a lot of battery power, so don't judge it. Now, if any of this is hitting home for you, that weird buzzing, the exhaustion you can't shake, or a deep need for something else, let me know in the comments below. I want to be there with you on your journey. Even just type, "I feel this." That could be so validating. And you're definitely not on this path alone. Your story matters, and I want to hear it. Now, the fourth sign is a huge psychological shift into your own sense of self. You start asking those big questions: who am I really? The labels, the roles that you used to define you no longer feel right. Your job title, your relationship status, your role in your family start to feel uncomfortable, kind of like costumes. You're realizing that part of your story is just that, a story, but they aren't the real you. This can be really disorienting. Some people call it an ego death. And it sounds a little terrifying, doesn't it? It feels a little terrifying, honestly. A gentler way to think of it is like shedding your old skin. The version of you that was built by society and expectation and old habits starts to dissolve and make room for the real you that is just waiting and wanting to come through. Now, I remember looking at the mirror and thinking, I hardly recognize myself. But it felt a little scary, but it also felt curious. I had a powerful sense that the identity I'd been clinging to was just a character I'd been playing in a story. The questioning wasn't a crisis, it was an awareness expanding. And that's what's happening to you. You're starting to get that you aren't a temporary personality. You're a timeless soul having a human experience, and you're starting to see past the fiction to find the truth behind. Now, the fifth secret sign is that your intuition, your gut feelings, starts to get louder. It gets a megaphone. It's no longer subtle, and you can't brush it off. It becomes clear, direct guidance. You might just know something without having a clue how you know it. You might think of someone and they'll call you 2 seconds later. And you might get a strong, undeniable urge to take a different route home, only to find out later that you dodged a huge accident. This is the voice of your higher self and your soul, so listen to it. As you awaken, the static from your logical mind starts to die down, which lets you hear this guidance so much more clearly. At first, I doubted it all the time. I get an intuitive nudge to reach out to a friend, and my brain and my intellect would argue, no, don't bother them, they're really busy. But every single time I ignored that nudge, I later found out I missed a chance to help someone, or to connect with someone, or to get help myself. So learning to trust this inner GPS is one of the most vital skills on this journey. It can steer you towards the people and the places and the experiences that are right for you, your soul, and guide you away from what's not. Your intuition is your superpower. So superpower up. Start listening to it. The final sign we'll talk about today is the weird paradox of feeling deeply lonely, even when you're surrounded by people. As your own energy and awareness shifts, you might find you just don't click with old friends, hobbies, or conversations anymore. Small talk can feel physically painful. Social events can feel totally draining because you're so much more sensitive to everybody's energy and your soul wants something different. This can be one of the hardest parts of the whole process. It can feel like you've been left behind or like you're the one leaving everyone else. And I remember feeling like I was speaking a completely different language to my loved ones. The things they cared about felt so far removed from me that the inner world I was exploring was very isolating in some ways. If this is you, please know that this stage is both temporary and necessary. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. This period of isolation isn't a punishment, it's a sacred cocoon. It's the universe's way of giving you a quiet space that you need to unplug from all the external noise so you can finally connect with your own inner truth. This solitude pushes you to find your soul tribe, the people who really get you and who see similarly to you and who are on a similar wavelength. You're stepping away from the world that was there into a world that can be, that you're about to create. So don't panic. You've got this. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. So you also have this deep craving for meaning, and you're on an emotional roller coaster, and your body is doing weird things, and you're not sure who you are anymore. Your intuition is screaming at you, and you feel totally alone. If you're nodding along to all these signs, just take a deep breath. You're not going crazy, you're not broken, and you're not alone. What you're going through is sacred and profound, and it's a transformation. These aren't symptoms of breakdown, they are signs of a breakthrough. It's the old reality dissolving to make way for one that's infinitely more beautiful and authentic and true to your soul. So embrace the journey. Give yourself grace. Allow yourself to feel everything you're feeling and move through it. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. Even when it makes no sense, you are not lost. You're being guided and you're waking up. If this video has given you a little bit of clarity or comfort, please subscribe and turn on notifications because our journey together is really just getting started. And for your next step, I highly recommend watching my other videos on spiritual awakening. They're the perfect guide for figuring out what comes next and helping you to navigate this transition. Thank you for being here, and thank you for having the courage to wake up.